And if you didn't hear it, maybe not. Peyton Manning, well, he talked about having commitment issues, the requirement of being an NFL traditional broadcaster. He spoke to our colleague Colin Cowherd on Cowherd's podcast, and we actually have the audio tape. So here is Peyton Manning, in his own words, explaining why, despite having money thrown at him by literally and figuratively every major broadcast company that does the NFL, has tried to get Peyton Manning, he has rejected them all. ESPN, Fox, NBC, CBS, you go down the list. Amazon, they've all tried to get him, and Peyton has always said no. Well, here's Peyton Manning to Colin Cowherd explaining why that is.
I learned, on the broadcasting that the commitment to be gone every weekend, that there are no home games when it comes to broadcasting, doing it the right way, like Tony Romo does it, Chris Collinsworth, the late John Madden started it, right? Go watch practice, go interview the teams, right? Be there hands-on. It's the only way to do it well. It's a 4-day commitment. I wanted my fall weekends to be free.
Okay, so he wanted his me time. So let us discuss the question here. Why does Peyton Manning not willing? Why is he not willing to commit to he says a 4-day commitment to broadcasting? That's actually not accurate, what he said. I've got oligarch, hobnobbing, and absenteeism on my menu, and we're going to serve it up piping hot. Hopefully the alarm does not go off again. All right, so first of all, very nice of Peyton Manning to throw Tony Romo, Chris Collinsworth, and John Madden under the bus. It's because of them. It's because of that John Madden that I cannot do this job. Let me tell you what that is. Bull pucky is what that is, right? The 4-day commitment thing is just wrong. And the way it works here is you fly in early Friday, first flight out on Friday. You watch practice on Friday. You then have production meetings on a Saturday. You interview the head coach for each team and the offensive star, typically the quarterback, and a couple of other people from the team. You'll talk to them. And that'll be at a hotel normally, or sometimes you go to the team facility. And then on Sunday, you will call the game. You will then get a police escort to the airport and be on a flight back home late Sunday, early Monday. Now, Manning, if he had done the Sunday night broadcast, would have gotten back early on Monday. But if he had worked for Fox or one of the other Sunday daytime broadcasters, he would have been home by Sunday night. So it's not a 4-day commitment. It's a 3-day commitment. You talk about a grind. And no home games. Well, that's not really true either, because Peyton has homes in Denver and in Nashville, and so you have the occasional home game. And I believe he still has a place in Indianapolis. So, it comes down to the fact that Peyton Manning, here's my theory on this. All right, my theory is that Manning's like, wait a minute, I don't want to do this. I've reached oligarch status. When you reach oligarch status, you don't need to do it. Now, listen, Tony Romo's got a lot of money also. Romo, he wants to do it. Collinsworth never made the big money when he played in the NFL. Madden never made the big money. So they're in a different area. But Manning is oligarch rich. He's worth over $300 million. That's a nice ballpark to be in. And so he's simply too wealthy to be bothered with the time-consuming busybody work. It's like that great line I learned when I watched The Simpsons years ago when Homer said, if something's hard to do, it's clearly not worth doing. And even part-time employment below Peyton Manning's status in upper society. Now, secondly, does this particular quote, the money quote from Peyton Manning, the 4-day-a-week thing, make you reassess his work on the Manning cast? So I'm shaking my head no. Like, we do not need to review our position on the Manning cast, and I'll tell you why. Because Peyton Manning is who we thought he was. From the very beginning, we pointed out that the Manning cast was not our flavor. It was not to our taste buds, not our flavor of the month. Now, we give Peyton credit for admitting that it's a scam. That's pretty much what he's doing. He's implying it's a scam. Peyton Manning went into the confessional booth and he spilled his guts out with Kyle Hurd and said, listen, I sit around in my neighbor's garage on Mondays. I futz around with my brother. I play grab ass on TV. I hobnob. I'm hobnobbing with celebrities and influencers, and the media fanboys love it. They slobber all over me. I'm critically acclaimed. My meathead sycophants, they massage my feet and give me a bubble bath. They can't get enough. Now, keep in mind, the ratings blow for this Manning cast, but Peyton is really just preaching to the converted. He's admitting, I don't put any work into this. No. Like Monday night, I'm like, okay, I'll go on there. You want me to tell some old stories from back in the day, old war stories? I'll do that for a few hours, and I'll occasionally check in on the game and all that. But it's not a big audience for that. I guess there's not a big enough group of true believers in the Omaha gospel. But the group of people that worship at the altar of Peyton Manning, Peyton could read random Wikipedia pages and would win awards from the hardos. They'd be like, all right, way to go. All right, final thought. So what does all of this also tell us about Peyton Manning and his future in the NFL? He's always going to be around the NFL. So what does it tell us? It tells us that he is lukewarm at putting in a lot of effort. That's what this tells us. Because if you don't want to do a broadcasting job, which is about as easy as it gets, and you're not willing to commit 3 days a week to that, although he said 4 days, God help whatever team Peyton Manning gets hired to run. God help him, because they're going to need divine intervention. Now, he wants to keep his feet in the game, but he wants to do it, Peyton Manning, on his terms. We have heard that Manning would like to run an NFL team, face of the franchise. And he's already been mentioned for multiple teams as a possibility over the last couple of years. And eventually, some hedge fund aristocrat will pay the bill. Peyton will get a minority share ownership in the team, whatever team that is. And he will call the shots. A connoisseur of pigskin. Seems like a good idea on the surface. It's like doing tequila shots, going out and getting a bunch of tequila shots after you've been drinking red wine all night seems like a good idea. Or setting your alarm for an extra 30 minutes of snooze time in the morning, and next thing you know, you've overslept by an hour and a half. What could possibly go wrong? But based on the words of Peyton Manning, his own words, his tone, and his own rhetoric, this has absenteeism owner written all over it. Like, the vibe I'm getting from Peyton here, that he's not even willing to put the work in as a broadcaster, and some team's going to hire him eventually to run a front office. And you want to know how that's going to go? Ask the Miami Marlins, my buddy Marlins man with Derek Jeter. How about Michael Jordan and the Charlotte Hornets, who are still living that debacle? We know how that story ends. If you cut corners, you keep going in circles. And that's what that's looking like for Peyton Manning. But again, I give him credit. He went into the confessional. He admitted he's just lazy and he does not want to do the required work, even though most of that work is just showing up. It's just being there and having people kiss your ass, shaking hands, and trading stories, and then repeating the stories and leaving the really important stuff out of the broadcast because you're not allowed to say that.